This is one of the rarest cars you're ever gonna see. And no, it's not an Aston Martin DB7 Anniversary Edition or a limited edition Audi R8. No, this is just an IS, a Lexus IS350 convertible. But this one is not just an F-Sport, it is the special edition F-Sport. Why is it special, you ask? Well, only 100 units were made. That is super rare. And these are not just like F-Sport badging type of special editions. No, these cars are quite special. I had a lot of track time with one of these cars. When they first came out, I went to a Lexus event in 2012, and they had the very special LFA at this event as well. And these cars really surprised me. They have a complete suspension makeover, including sway bars, Bilstein struts, lowering springs, etc. But then also a big brake kit, as you can see here, with special made BBS forged wheels, specially designed for these cars. So they were properly tuned. If you compare these cars to the, the E92, 93 chassis from BMW from the same time period, very close numbers. So indeed, a very special car. And guess what? This drop top, that's when the fun gets started. Now inside, great cabin. Now this car does feel a little bit bulgier than an E-chassis BMW E92, 93, but performance-wise, they're very similar. Now in here, very similar to your standard IS from this time period, with a few elements. You have floor mats that say F-Sport, so that you know you're driving something very special. In here, you also have a plaque indicating the number of your build, and it just shows that it was made by Lexus. I think this type of interior is gonna age very well, and it has been aging very well. It's nothing very crazy, just very refined, rounded angles with a decent driving position. The gauge cluster was very nice looking and very interesting for the time period. You also had the option to change your speed indicator, so you can select that in here and choose what speed you'll be warned, or the RPM as well, the tach indicator. You can change that and change it to whatever RPM you want to be warned about. In the steering wheel, you have your standard control, volume, mode, channel, phone, Bluetooth phone capability, and command.
After the beep, please say a command such as go home, destination, phone, audio, information, or command list.
In the entertainment center, you have your controls for just all of your standard stuff. You have climate in here, you have audio control, display settings, info for your phone, map data, calendar, etc. You can monitor your stocks from your Lexus. Look at this. Because in stocks, every moment counts. Map navigation, you can set your destination here, points of interest, previous destinations. Now this screen is looking a little bit dated, but still it's kind of interesting to see all the icons in here and all the different selections, emergency. So you can literally contact your police station, fire department, hospital right from in here. Your setup button allows you to set up multiple features about the vehicle, maintenance, your clock, obviously voice, what language, the beeps of the screen and the units of measurement and that kind of stuff. In here you have your climate controls, your radio. Now this one did not come equipped with a Mark Levinson audio system, but it still sounds pretty good. Heated and cool seats in here, and in the glove box you have your own little compartment for your owner's manual. Right down here you have a pretty interesting button that started out in the probably late 80s, early 90s for Toyota Lexus vehicles. Is the power, it controls your transmission mode. So you can select it for power or snow, and that will actually retard timing and do all kinds of things to give you either more traction or more power depending on your choice. You have a few F-Sport badging in here with a beautiful blue stitching all throughout the seats, the center armrest, and the door panels. It's a pretty nice touch that lets you know it's a different car. Your convertible control is actually right here. You can push it down to open your convertible top, or you can pull it up to close it. Center armrest slides back to give you access to another cup holder, or you can flip it back to give you more storage space here, access to your USB aux or a 12-volt plug here. In the back you have a couple of cup holders here, and if you want to annoy your passengers in the rear, you just pull this handle here and watch the headrest. Around the back there's not a whole lot of space in here. You have barely enough space to store just a few grocery bags with the top down. Now with the top up, you can remove this area here, and it'll give you a little bit more space, but not a whole lot. Now under the hood, you have your standard 3.5 V6, standard in all the 350 ISs, either the sedan or the convertible. It's a very reliable direct injection engine producing 306 horsepower. Now with the F-Sport and the F-Sport Special Edition, you did have the option to have an improved air intake here, which this one does not have. And you can also upgrade with a catback exhaust system that gives you just a much sharper exhaust note, as well as your intake. Now the owner of this car probably just wanted a quieter riding car, so he opted to keep the standard intake and exhaust for this model. But these engines are very, very capable, very reliable, and nowadays you can supercharge these and make tons of power as well. So with that being said, let's take it for a spin. All right, now driving the IS350 convertible F-Sport Special Edition. Now these cars are quite special because of the heritage of the IS line, but these were very, very specific builds to give you added performance. Now, they didn't increase the engine output or anything like that. It was more of a feel, right? It was more of a suspension tuning and braking capability. And you do feel that when you drive these as opposed to the regular IS350. As I mentioned, in the inside is very, very similar. It's just a few minor touches that were added to remind you that this is a special edition car and not just, you know, your regular IS350. In terms of the exterior, these special editions came in just two colors: the tungsten pearl, which is like a silverish color, and this, the obsidian, the black. And that's it, with blue calipers and blue accents. I think some of them you could choose to do red accents, but I think those were the only options. These V6 engines feel great, nice, torquey, smooth output, and very, very reliable and easy to maintain. So that's a win-win. Braking capability is great in these cars. With these upgraded brakes, they can stop from 60 to 0 in a dime. These cars also perform really well on the slalom, the skidpad. Very competitive with the E90 platform. Although, I gotta say, when you drive one of these cars and you drive the BMW feels more performance-oriented. Even though this one has the upgraded suspension and all of that, just the BMW feels sharper. Capability-wise, on track, they're the same. They're identical. But for somehow, this one feels just more luxurious, more refined, more, Lexus, as opposed to the BMW feels sportier. I kind of like the E90, E92, 93 chassis in terms of the driving capability or the driving feel than this car, even though they're the same. And I guess we don't even have to mention the reliability aspect of one of these, but this with a 6-speed, they move quite nicely. Now, as I mentioned, this one has the stock intake and exhaust. It hasn't been upgraded to the F-Sport edition, and so it's a lot quieter. Now, even though this has been upgraded to, Bilstein struts and lowering springs and all that, wider, bigger tires and wheels, it still rides pretty nicely. It's nice and smooth when you're just cruising around. It doesn't feel, shaky or very sharp or bouncy, anything like that. It still rides very smoothly. The steering wheel feels pretty much the same. It feels a little bit sharper than the standard 350, as well as the brakes. These are very grippy, but not shockingly to the point where it gives you that initial aggressive bite. It's very almost progressive at the beginning, but then very direct throughout the pedal range. So that's it, guys. If you want to have a super rare car at the car meets, one that perhaps nobody's even going to care about because they're just going to think, this is just a regular IS. What do I care about that? But then they start to look at the wheels and they start to look at the brakes, and then they figure out, oh wow, this is a special edition for a very special person. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you on the next one.